Oh, fuck.
Resident Evil Requiem is finally a thing, the first numbered game to really focus on main characters since fucking 6 over a decade ago, and the reviews are pretty good. I was hoping to do what I did with 4 Remake, create a video talking about what I liked, and maybe throw in a few negatives, then read the comments complaining about how even that is going too far, but in the end, it's not just 2 things. There are a number of issues with Requiem, and it's not all gonna fit into one video.
I don't give a fuck about any of you.
By that I mean the good and the bad is gonna take 2 separate videos, and I'm gonna do the things I don't like first because that's what you get from me. I do still like the game a great deal. It's highly overrated by many, especially fucking IGN. No, 9 out of 10, I don't know why they did that. It's not even narrative driven. You'll get a video on things I like, but first the elements I kinda, sorta, fucking hate, so let's do this. Yeah, the first fuck up we gotta get into was an issue we don't normally get with Resi games, but the intro is unreasonably long. That kind of thing is expected nowadays. I mean, who plays games twice? But with Resident Evil, this is not justified. Little spoiler, the narrative is nothing amazing, it's okay, we'll get more into that, but if you played literally any other game in the franchise, you'll know we didn't need a half hour of restricted movements. It's not irrelevant, it gives us intro on Grace's backstory, it's well done, but it's not playing a game. It's just a walking simulator, luckily not the whole game, but it does deter future playthroughs. Grace as a character is just okay, I appreciate the contrast, maybe the most unique individual to ever appear in a numbered game. Ethan was kind of just blank. But in the end, you can give us Leon, Chris, the pinnacle of I wanna be that guy. This kind of thing is never fun. Only time we ever came close to this was Leon in Resi 6, the action game, in case you didn't know. Even that wasn't this lengthy. Some games it's a given, I've gotten used to that by now, but this is not one of those. Last of Us Part 2, Uncharted 4, they at least thought they had a good reason to stall the gameplay. This game doesn't, like the last 5 overly lengthy Iron Maiden albums, they did it because they can. Not a deal breaker, could have been half the time, but it may be the reason IGN gave it that high score. They love this shit.
What am I even here?
I hate to say it, but one of the most unsettling things about horror-based Resident Evil is kind of mediocre here. As you know, the whole deal with this game is the mixed genres. Leon gets more action stuff, Grace gets the classic gameplay, lack of defense, you get the idea. And because of that, you're gonna have the various big enemies stalking you, along with one known as the Girl, who you outright can't kill until the game says so. Now we'll talk about basic enemies later, but the primary foe that targets Grace isn't really what it should be. You do get 1 or 2 moments when you have to run in which safety is somewhat out of reach, but the fact that it can't be in the light most of the time provides an easy safe haven. Yes, it does mimic danger by forcing you into dark areas, but it's usually 1 or 2 things. A point when you know where to go, so just go there is probably not gonna get you. You don't really solve puzzles in complete darkness. And yes, it does occasionally appear in front of you when you're not yet ready to leave, but the only challenge is going back the way you came into a light source. Not what I call riveting. In other words, it's not difficult, it's tedious, so at no point in the game did I ever really fear this thing, apart from maybe at the beginning. In Resi 2, Mr. X was very intimidating, wouldn't do too much with him in the area, but what you did do took some creativity. It was a great balance. Even when you finally beat this thing, it's easy. The first time doing it, you may take damage just because you don't know what to do, but honestly, it's surprisingly basic stuff. The other big enemies, like the Butcher and whatnot, can be killed pretty easily, so they're not an issue either. Speaking of easily killed and not being an issue, the balance, the whole concept behind this game, the aforementioned selling point, was already done better in Resi 8.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Not exactly, you mainly only played as Ethan, but by simply going to different areas that represented unique types of Resident Evil gameplay, the variety was top-notch. Stealth in the castle, action in the swamp and factory, but with the baby was truly terrifying. Get the puzzles in there too. If you love all types of Resident Evil, this is still the best choice. Aside from forcing first person on you, but it's no longer a thing. The DLC rectified that, so yeah, it's one of the best. In this case, it's just Leon action, Grace horror. That still sounds pretty good, but it's not exactly the finest execution. Just period, it's too easy, not just stalking enemies. The game gives you way too much ammo. It's mainly because you can keep crafting it, but nonetheless, I never feared I would run out. In Resi 2, it was more like you just had enough. When you actually play as Leon, you may be expecting something like Resi 4, but you really just fight the same things, they just throw way more of them at you. In this case, you're given too much stuff, healing, ammo, resources. You really have to play badly to run out. For me, that's easily done. I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, even when playing as Grace, who is not that capable, it was simply never an issue. They put that big butcher in the game, then give me an item to kill it instantly, so that solves that. And because Leon is basically untouchable, most of the bosses are a complete joke. For the parrying ones, you don't have to parry, just unload on them. If you take damage, it doesn't matter. You have way too much health. Even get body armor if you want. The plant knockoff, kinda problematic, but only annoying in a cheap way. Definitely not skill-inducing. It's shameful how pathetic the game's tyrant is. I am in fact saying the bosses come down to point and shoot, maybe parry a little. The final boss is mostly a cutscene, so little effort is needed. I'm going to assume it's the same issue. The game wasn't balanced for Leon, and he fights all the bosses. It really seems like having Grace fight them with almost nothing would have made more sense. I'm honestly not kidding. I don't know what the real issue actually is, but the concept of combining two different types of gameplay isn't as successful as many people say it is. Resident Evil Village, that's the game that nailed this. In the case of Requiem, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't tense or that challenging. More so just point and shoot.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not.
If you're not pissed as hell, I also have a channel for discussing new movies. So, if you're into that, link down below. Pretty much any big new release, and maybe some less talked about stuff too, even if the algorithm hates it. Again, link below. The narrative on the base of it is the same song and dance. By now you know how things usually go in Resident Evil games. There are a few standout moments, I'll get to that in the things I like video. And in the same vein, similar to Resi Village, some things leave you asking questions. Like at one point, Leon has to put down Emily upon transforming. Obviously Grace is upset about this. I mean, she knew her for like an hour. It's basically her own kid. But because it's a horror game and we know co-op wouldn't go over too big, the two have to separate, and they do it because of this. It could have made sense, but the issue is they don't explain why. She's not actively mad at Leon. She kind of just walks away, goes off with the game's antagonist, isn't exactly happy about her decision later. It really does feel forced. We just cut to Leon going to next area like she was fucking kidnapped. You could say it's just nitpicking, but so many moments in the game feel half-assed. The helicopter pilot was an odd character, seemed kind of sinister the way he talked. Like, who even was he? A plot device, I would say? I have to question how Grace even got in the FBI, let alone being given a job like this.
Hey, that's a restricted area. You can't go in there.
Right? What do I do?
She's not the pinnacle of expertise, and even though it doesn't really matter, why does the game give us one single decision? As in, if you pick the wrong answer, you get the bad ending that doesn't resolve anything and then you just reset. Yes, you can get Leon killed, and if you do, no final boss. Second time you could be killed in the franchise. Not really anything else happens, she just gets out and the game ends. That's not even an ending. Yes, I fucking want to redo that. It's not the first time the franchise did this. Revelations 2 pulled the same shit, only then determining that this would happen was impossible. How was anyone supposed to know it mattered who shot Neil? I don't remember if you could automatically redo it. It was like, again, over a decade ago. I never replayed that ending, but the fact that you can here just shows how pointless it is. I mean, who the fuck would leave it at this ending? It had no reason to exist. It's like GTA 5's other endings. Who would pick them? Like I said, narratives are not the main focus in Resident Evil, but given this game did break some new ground and lean heavily on nostalgia, in a few ways, seeing this lazy writing and just plain dumb ideas appear so frequently is a bit disappointing. Yeah, I'll say it. What were you thinking? Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Not only do you put chainsaws back in the game, give us the most advanced chainsaw mechanics yet, but you actively gave Leon the ability to pick up and use them. That alone could have been the game, imagine that, or maybe a DLC, Leon with a motherfucking chainsaw, mowing through any and all enemies, countless horror movies, knew it was the way to go. Only caveat is it gets introduced in the second segment with Leon, we don't see it again until way later, and then we see it one more time, and that's it.
Is this a joke?
It's just an insanely dumb decision, the most dynamic piece of gameplay in the game, the ability to really shake things up, because like I said, playing as either of these two is not the most complex thing out there. Instead, we barely get to use it. Like many unique gameplay moments, they're one and done, in this case 3 and done, but still, not enough. It's just point and shoot, blow your way through all enemies. I guess they thought having to strategize and think was too much, because you do. They're actively tougher enemies. You don't just get the chainsaw. Even has to stop spinning when it hits the ground. It really was a highlight. Other enemies could pick it up, it could even get stuck inside them. So many cool ideas, but in the end, it's for naught. That's the way it goes. Thanks a lot, Capcom. You had one of the best ideas, and you once again fucked us.
I think you want a second opinion.
So there you go, 5 things I hate the most about Resident Evil Requiem. I'm sure it's all wrong. Let me know down below in the comments. Literally comment anything, like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you really did, make sure you share the content, because nowadays, it's the only way to really get anywhere. The algorithm is dead. I'm the game analyst, and occasionally negative, because somebody has to be.